There's nothing like cracking that cellophane and pulling that record out. It just smells great.
Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Non-stop hardcore energy.
I love the show, guys. You're awesome.
Unlike any other.
With your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather.
Man, this stuff rocks.
Hello, this is Amadeus Cavalera, vocalist and guitarist of Healing Magic. You are now listening to BODS Mayhem Hour. Keep banging your head.
The views and opinions of the guests do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Hour, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, aka the Bodfather, and as always, I bring you guys and gals awesome interviews. Today, it's a huge honor and privilege to welcome Amadeus Cavalera of Healing Magic, and go ahead and dive back to the podcast. Healing Magic have released their debut album, Volume 1, entitled Fire via Blood Blast. Also check out their singles and videos, A Guiding Flame in a Dim Corridor and Wolf Coven. Also a Guiding Flame in a Dim Corridor. Like I said previously, the guitarist reminded me a lot of Pantera's A New Level, which is a good thing. And they're so, welcome to the podcast again, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me again. It's awesome to be back. I'm currently in Columbus, Ohio on the road, sitting in the dressing room. I have Bob Marley and stuff behind me. I'm on set, I feel like,
Yeah, so folks, if you hear anything in the background, like Amadeus said, they are on location for a show. So yeah. So
yeah, they're sound checking right now in the background, but I think we'll be okay.
So how you been doing, man, with all this stuff, and how excited are you to get back out on the road with this?
It's great. Healing Magic started back in 2018. So we were brand new when the pandemic struck, and it really put the hatchet in a lot of our plans for 2 years, and that was a long 2 years. But we made the most out of it. That's when we recorded Fire. That's when we wrote the songs and came up with the concepts and everything like that. And to be back on the road now is it's almost kind of unreal. The first few shows were almost like a dream. I had to almost remind myself that it was really happening. We're back on the road. Things are looking upwards again since COVID. And the shows themselves have been great. Opening up for Warbringer and Cavalera is awesome. Everybody is super cool. The shows have been packed. Despite many people having never even heard of us, we're getting a great reaction and winning over fans every single night. So I'm super happy to be here and super excited about the rest of the tour and everything we've already done.
I know you're on tour with your dad and your uncle right now, but what have you guys talked about this tour, though? Are you guys impressed with the turnout? Are you guys seeing more turnout now versus pre-pandemic?
Yeah, no, I think it's even busier now than before the pandemic because people are so starved of live music.
Yeah.
We've already, like, tonight is sold out in Columbus. We've already had 2 or 3 sold out shows on the tour. And then even like we were joking the other day, like a slow show on this tour was like 350, 400 people. You know what I mean? So for us, that's a huge deal, getting the opportunity to play in front of so many people every night. It means the world to us, and we think it's going to play a part in our longevity and keeping us going, keeping us on the road. So I would say it's exceeding our expectations.
How excited are you to have this debut album, Volume 1, out, Fire? And this is going to be there's going to be 3 albums out in this saga, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Volume 1 is obviously the first installment of the, I guess you'd call it the saga or the epic or whatever. And yeah, basically it's kind of a light and dark, good versus evil, fantasy styled story that's gonna, like you said, encompass 4 records. Fire being the first one, obviously, lots of inspiration from the deserts to Arizona, where we're from, the heat, the sun, the everything like that. You know, and each album will have their own texture and atmosphere to them. That's kind of the plan, is to have each element coincide with the sound and the look and the feeling of each record. And in terms of having it out, it's great. You know, like I said, we recorded it all the way back in 2020, right in the middle of the pandemic. And it was a very cool recording process, because we actually enlisted Steve Austin of Today's the Day, who's recorded Lamb of God and Converge and you know, some pretty big name bands. You know, we actually got him to come out to Arizona and record it on site at our practice space. So it was actually kind of DIY how we did it, and he did an amazing job. He captured us as naturally as could be. And 2 years later now, to have it out, it's you know, we're ecstatic almost, you could say. You know, we're getting good reviews, getting positive feedback. So to sit on something for 2 years and then finally have it out, and people are really enjoying it, loving it. Even like you said, comparisons, you know, hearing riffs that remind you of this, you know, to us, that's really cool, because you know, our image of what we're going for is one thing, and then yours can be another, and every fan will have their own opinion about it. And it has been very cool to see all the different reactions that we're getting. You know, I've heard everything from Pantera to Neurosis to even just plain old Black Sabbath, you know. So for us, that's really cool. You know, we're taking so many influences, and people are picking up on it. And you know, hopefully just the next one doesn't take as long to get out. Hopefully we can crack on that one and get going sooner.
I got to know though, man, did Steve get something out of you guys that maybe somebody else might not have gotten? I mean, was this process really smooth work with him, and did he push you guys on this?
No, I think Steve really was the perfect guy. And I think if we did it in a different scenario, I don't think it would have been as good. Like I said, he came to our practice pad, which is actually my family has kind of like a ranch out in the Arizona desert. And that's actually where I live. And that's where I write, and that's where I come up with everything. And so to record it in the comfort of home and the scenic beauty of the desert and everything like that, it really did add to it. Not to mention, he brought a lot of old like Neve preamps and recording equipment from the 70s and 80s. So, you know, we almost took the approach of doing it like an analog record with a little bit of digital production at the end, you know. So he really killed it, and it was very it might sound dorky, but very like spiritual experience. And like I said, to be on site and waking up in our home, and then basically having breakfast and going into the studio and working on stuff all day, that wasn't a luxury that I've ever had before. Usually you have to commute to a studio, and then you have a certain amount of time you're allowed to work, and you feel like you need to get it all done. And there was none of that pressure doing it this way. You know, we were all really relaxed and working at our own pace. And like I said, he's a total wizard with recording. You know, I mean, he has decades of experience. So he really let us have the freedom to do what we wanted. And his knowledge was just on the capturing of it, not so much the actual writing or production of it. You know, he was more just there to get our essence. And yeah, I think if we did do it in a $1 million studio, we wouldn't have been as comfortable. You know, there was something about doing it just nitty gritty in our practice space that made it really sound like us.
I got to ask this because we talked about this previously before our interview had all kinds of audio technical difficulties. But,
yeah.
But the band is centered around the story of the Healer and the Tyrant. I want to talk about this. Like, where did this come from for Healing Magic, this band and the concept of, man, where did it come from?
I mean, deep down, it's a personal thing. I think as humans, we all deal with light and dark in ourselves and in our minds and in our hearts and everything like that. And So that was really the initial idea. Was I just kind of wanted to write about the human experience, the human battle, the constant struggle between right and wrong, or light and dark, or good or bad, or and how we perceive that, and so that, I guess you could say, that's the philosophical side of it. And then even just as a kid, I was very big into Lord of the Rings, even Legend of Zelda, like video games and stuff inspired me. So I always wanted to do something that was kind of a little Dungeons and Dragons based.
Nah.
Because I'm a big dork at heart. I play metal, and maybe people think that I'm this badass guy, but really I'm a total dork. And I love all the just fantasy sci-fi stuff. So it's a culmination of all those things, and then specifically the story with the healer and the tyrant. They're almost two sides of the same coin a little bit. They're in that constant battle to overthrow each other, and I'm kind of making up the story as I go as well. So it's definitely taking parts of my personal experiences, and just what I've been through with my life. Everything from dealing, I'm a diabetic, to having anxiety, to being depressed, to other songs that are about overcoming that, the songs that are about beating the anxiety and beating the depression and all that. So the healer, in a way, is the good part of me, and the tyrant is like the evil part that I try to defeat. And so each, like I said, and each album will have its own concept, and Fire has like Solar Valley and Mystic Desert, and lots of stuff about heat and light and passion and fury. Even those were the things that, when I thought about Fire, that's what came to my mind. And so it's the story's gonna kind of progress as we keep going. I can actually say I don't have an ending, or I don't have a finished goal in mind. I like the idea that it's going to shape as I shape my life, and that's sort of the central theme. Not to mention Johnny, our drummer, I'd say he's half the band. He has knowledge that he brings to the table, and he has experiences that he brings to the table, and at the end of the day, the band is quite literally about just us trying to find our way, find our way through the darkness.
Man, how odd is that? I've got diabetes and I also have anxiety, so we're both in the same cup there, my friend. So yeah.
I think they're hand in hand. Yeah. I think having a disease is a mental battle as much as it's a physical that you struggle with, and so I was a juvenile diabetic. I pretty much had it my whole life. So there's definitely influences of that. There's influences of the real world situations we're going through. Just at any moment feels like could be the brink of disaster in this day and age that we're living in. And, I guess to me, healing magic is hoping that the light will prevail,
I got to know what led A Guiding Flame in a Dim Corridor to be the first track released off the album. What was that? What was it about that song that said that's going to be the one that comes out swinging for us?
As you mentioned, the musically speaking, the song is very powerful. It has a lot of very crunchy, almost a little fast paced. It's not quite really a doom song. It's more of a upbeat, kind of almost punk vibe to it a little bit. And to us, the power of the riffs and everything like that was just a good representation of what to expect on the record, because it has everything from heavy crunching parts to atmospheric melodies and things like that. And then the title itself, A Guiding Flame in a Dim Corridor, it goes in with a lot of what I was just saying of sometimes feeling like you're consumed by the darkness, and you have to just keep following that one little flame at the end of the tunnel, you know what I mean? And so to us, it was a very powerful meaning and a very powerful song, and it can be applied to everything from getting a new job, to moving to a new city, to having depression, to feeling suicidal, to anything. It's about just keeping going when things are hard, when things are dark. And to us, that was just a very, very important message that we wanted to share.
Yeah, and I'm not saying it's just because we're friends or anything, but honest to God, that song, when those riffs come in, man, it's like, wow, if they don't hit you, I don't know what will in a song.
No, thank you. Yeah, no, exactly. From the first note, it's just pure power. And that definitely had to do with us picking it. We wanted people to hear a very strong track time.
Are these all brand new songs? Or these songs that didn't make a previous project that you were working on, or let's talk about that just a little bit.
No, they were all originals. We actually we wrote it over a pretty long period of time. Some of the record we actually wrote because we technically started as a 3-piece, but we didn't really do much as a 3-piece. And our original third member actually ended up joining Pig Destroyer. So that was a moment for us that we told him, we were like, no, take the good opportunity, go for Pig Destroyer, don't feel held back by us or whatever. And, so we had a few songs that were written as a 3-piece. And then through the course of the pandemic and everything, we kind of condensed down to a 2-piece. And, once we did that, we were kind of set on it. And that's when we started writing again. But no, they were all originals. We did the Restoration EP. That was back. We recorded that in like 2018. And pretty much as soon as we finished that, we started writing Fire and started coming up with concepts and stuff. So it's all original stuff.
I know these are your babies, Amadeus, but are there any tracks standing out more to you than any right now on this, man?
Yeah, no, of course. I love Wolf Coven, which we have the animated music video for.
Yes, sir.
To me, Wolf Coven is very catchy, very bouncy, very high energy type song. Very fun to play. We've actually been opening with that every night. And then other than that, I love Resting Beside Embers, which is a slower one, a lot more melody. There's even like clean guitar kind of intro, a lot of dynamics going on with it. And then other than that, I love the last song on the album, Leaving Ashes. It's just, once again, a very powerful message, very powerful song. It has a very, very catchy desert jam, we kind of call it. It gets a little hippie and tripped out a little bit. And to us, we love that, and to me, the last song on the album is just as important as the first. You need to start very powerful, you need to end very powerful. And to me, Leaving Ashes is a perfect ender to an album, to a concert, to end your night even, so those would probably be my 3 favorite off the record.
Was there a track that you guys were working on that totally ended up sounding different than was intended to when it was first brought to the table for this album, man? There's going to be one that changed a lot, possibly, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, the very first song, Mystic Desert, probably went through like 3 different drafts before we really got settled on the final thing that you're hearing. It's just the way of the game. You start with the skeleton, and then you put some meat and bones on it, and then you keep shaping it up. But Mystic Desert was that way, and Volcanic as well. Volcanic was another one with a lot of dynamics. There's clean vocals, clean guitars, all the way to super, super heavy crushing, feral screeching and stuff like that. But that song did take a lot of work and a lot of finesse to make right in the studio with all those dynamics and crazy things going on. But that's the fun to me. I love working on them and making them better. And sometimes, some songs you get right the first time, other ones, take 3 drafts before you really get it right. And to me, there's nothing wrong with either or.
You've worked with Johnny for a while now, correct?
Yeah. We've been jamming for about 4 years now.
What's he brought to this band, man, that you like, that he brings to it, man?
I mean, he has a really intense drumming style. Phenomenal drummer, just to say the least. The he has a lot more of a death metal crust punk kind of background. Like he loves a lot of D beat stuff and a lot of blasting, and so we took that into the context of the sludgy stuff that we do with Healing Magic. So definitely some of those songs, they got a little bit more of their aggression and a little bit more of their heaviness because of the drums, especially with some of the random blast beats and stuff like that. Like it's not often to hear blast beats on a sludge record, but he pulled it off really well. And even during the live set, he's a headbanging drummer. You know, he's doing windmills and drumming at the same time, and very, very, very high energy. You know, so musically, you know, he does a great job. And even as a person, I love the dude. Like we, outside of music, we share recipes and talk about video games and, just send music back and forth. And we're good friends as well as, bandmates. So, you know, just we're constantly in touch. We're constantly working on stuff. We're like, if he has a new idea, I always try to respect it and bring it to the table. And, you know, I try to let him be a big part of the band as well.
I want to know who did the album cover art, because this is a badass cover art for this Healing Magic debut, man.
Yeah, no, it was actually very random. We didn't really have anybody in mind. The couple of legendary artists that we wanted to use were outside of our budget and, you know, too busy to get around to us. And, so we just sort of reached out on social media, like, hey, would anybody be interested in working with us? If you are, send us some work. And, we heard from, Goran, who was the one who ended up doing it. He's a man from Oslo in Norway. And he did a buddy of mine's album cover, a band called Contrive, and I really loved the cover he did for them. And after talking to him, he told me that he does everything oil canvas. You know, he paints it, and that's, even if you look at the Healing Magic record, you can see the texture of the paint and stuff on the cover. But yeah, his name is Gordon Nielsen. He's out of Oslo. He's kind of underground, you know. He's not a super famous artist, but that's not what we care about. You know, we just want someone who's going to do a good job. And, you know, basically we just explained the story of fire and, the idea of the Arizona deserts and canyons and cactus and all of that. And, you know, he knocked it out of the park. You know, it's, to me, an album cover can take a good record and make it great and make it stick in your head and give it texture to go along with the music. And yeah, in my opinion, he did a perfect job. And I don't think it would be out of the question if he does volume 2 as well in the future.
Like, how many albums have you went to the record store and seen, and you bought it just solely on that cover art, man? I know you bought many that way.
Oh, dozens. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, especially the old, like, Ed Repka, like Leprosy, Massacre, Inhuman Condition, like stuff like that. I absolutely picked because of the album covers. You know, like Repka, Dan Seagrave, like artists like that. Yeah, absolutely. You know, a good cover can sell you on a record without even hearing it. And in my opinion, Goran, who did ours, like I said, he completely nailed it.
For sure. Yeah, it gives that old, like you said, it's like an old oil painting that's come to life on a album art, you know?
Yeah, no, it gives texture to the music, and I think the two of them just go together, you know, perfectly. ABC, you know.
Man, how much creativity does Healing Magic give you? Does it give you more inspiration as a artist? Because I know you've done some other projects, but does this allow you to stay more creative with what you're wanting to do?
Absolutely. I think Healing Magic is my most open-ended band, musically and just creatively speaking. We don't really set any boundaries. As I was just saying, you know, we are more of a stoner sludge band, but we're not afraid to throw a blast beat on a part. We're not afraid to throw some D beats and crusty stuff randomly. And on the flip spectrum, we're not afraid to go completely mellow and chill. We're cool with bringing everything down for a couple minutes, so to me, that's the beauty of Healing Magic is, we don't necessarily have we don't have like a rule book that we're going by. We don't necessarily even have a certain sound that we're premeditating. It's more just, hey, I have this riff, let's start with that and just let's go from there, and let's see what we come up with. And we have actually started writing volume 2, and I can tell you we're building upon fire. We're taking tones that were there and pushing it even further. So for me, yeah, Healing Magic is a huge creative output for me, because we don't really have any rules that we set ourselves, and we don't really have any we don't have any boundaries, and we want to just, any boundaries there are, we want to just smash through, so I feel total freedom with it.
What do you hope everyone takes away while listening to this debut album, man? What do you hope they take away from it after they pop it in?
The passion of it, I guess that would be first and foremost, would just be the passion, the intensity. I want people to feel that we are putting our heart into it. We're bleeding right into the record. It's coming from such an honest place. I hope people can feel the everything from the pain and the anxiety to the overcoming and the power, because that's like I said, a big part of the light and the dark of it. And so yeah, that's all I can really hope. I hope when people listen to the record that they finish it and go, wow, that is a passionate, intense piece of work. And I hope people can tell that we really, really put our hearts into it.
Folks, get out and please pick up Healing Magic's Volume 1 Fire via Blood Blast. You will not be disappointed. These first 2 tracks I've got to hear is phenomenal, and cannot wait to hear the rest of this, because I am going to pick it up. That is for sure. So not just because I know Amadeus or anything like that. It's just, honest to God, it's good, sludgy, doom. It's good music, man. If you're a metalhead, or I think there's a song. I'm just going to say it, man. I think there's a song on here for everybody, honestly.
Thank you.
Just get out and take a look at it, folks, and grab it. So Amadeus, my man, how can folks stay in touch with you guys, buy this new album, everything Healing Magic wise? How can they do that, sir?
Yeah, obviously right now we're on the road, so the best way to do it is come see us at one of our shows with Cavalera and Warbringer. Right now we'll be out for another just under a month. We still got about a month to go, so plenty of dates all over the country. Otherwise, you can follow us on the social medias. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. The URL is Healing Magic AZ. So we're pretty easy to find. We run it ourselves. So if you write to us, you're getting directly to me or Johnny. Otherwise, just buy some merch, stream some songs, tell your friends about us. If you can, get a sticker, slap it on a bus stop, and just keep the word going around. We're just trying to do the good old fashioned hard work of being on the road, and spreading the word. So any of those ways that you can help us, we would absolutely appreciate. And even beyond this tour, we hope that we're going to be on the road more this year and more in the years to come. So just keep your eyes open for us.
Before I let you go, my friend, would you care to do another promo for my show?
Yeah, absolutely. Hello, this is Amadeus Cavalera, vocalist and guitarist of Healing Magic. You are now listening to BODS Mayhem Hour. Keep banging your head.
Everybody stick around. We got some great stuff coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour. Please get out, check out our Facebook page. It has our podcast link and our YouTube link, and please drop a like on that YouTube link and subscribe, folks, because we got a lot of stuff coming up, giveaways, all kinds of stuff. So, and also please get out and check out Healing Magic. Grab Volume 1, which is Fire, via Blood Blast. And I'm also affiliated with some great chapters out here, Metal Inc. I'm also Forma Obscura and Diary of the Madmen podcast, the ultimate Aussie podcast. So I'm telling you, folks, got some good stuff. So Amadeus, my brother, great stuff always from you guys. And tell your dad, Max, said hello.
I will. Thank you so much, John. Take care. All right.
See you, my brother.
Yep. Take care.
listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.